Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Febriyanti Sayekti. I'm from Bilingual Mathematics Education 2019. So, in this video, I want to explain about the history of Hindu mathematics. Stay tuned on my video. Okay, we will discuss about the history of Hindu mathematics. Hindu mathematics began with the emergence of a civilization located in the Indus River basin in the 26th before century and ended in the 14th century. Indian mathematics developed after Chinese mathematics and before the emergence of medieval European mathematics. Indian mathematics, this civilization, is commonly called the Indus Valley Civilization. The cities they lived in at that time were arranged geometrically. The Indus River Valley Civilization was an ancient civilization that lived along the Indus River and the Ghaggar-Hakra River in what is now Pakistan and Western India. This civilization is often referred to as the Indus Valley Harappan Civilization because its first excavation city was called Harappa, or also the Saraswati Indus Civilization, because the Saraswati River probably dried up in late 1900 before century. Around the 15th century, the Indians were expelled by the Aryans who came from Central Asia. For about 1000 years, the Aryans perfected Hindu writing or Sanskrit. Then was born Vedanta mathematics, which developed in India since the Iron Age. Around the 9th century before, a mathematician named Satapatha Brahmin began to discover the approximation of the value of and between the 8th and 5th before century. The Sulba Sutras gave geometrical writings using rational numbers, prime numbers, the rule of three, and roots and cubic. In the year 550, Hindus discovered the number zero and wrote the layout system for numbers. Indian mathematics have long discovered the number zero, but there is no symbol for it. Then Aryabhata called the number zero with the word ka. Aryabhata has included zero in the calculation system, not just an empty space. The Encyclopedia Britannica says Hindu literature proves that the number zero may have been known before the birth of Christ, but no record is found with such a symbol ahead of the 9th century. The brilliant ideas of Indian mathematicians were further studied by Muslim and Arab mathematicians. Al-Khwarizmi was the first to introduce the use of zero as a place value in base 10. This system is known as the decimal number system. Okay, next we will discuss about the Hindu mathematician. The first is Panini on 5th before century. It was Panini who formulated the grammatical rules of Sanskrit. The notation he used is the same as modern mathematical notation and used the rules of meta, transformation, and recursion. The second is Surya Siddhanta. Surya Siddhanta introduced the trigonometric function sine, cosine, and inverse sine and laid down the rules that determine the true motion of celestial bodies, which correspond to their actual position in the sky, the cosmological time cycle described in the paper. which is a copy of an earlier work, corresponds to an average Sideric year of 365 days, which is only 1.4 seconds longer than the modern value of 365 days. This work was translated into Arabic and Latin. In the Middle Age, Surya Siddhanta is one of India's early astronomy books. Okay, the third is Aryabhata. Aryabhata was an Indian mathematician and astronomer who was born in 475 and died in 550. When he was only 23 years old, he had success in making a great work, namely a book which he gave the title Aryabhatiya. It was so popular that it was translated into Arabic in the 8th century and then into Latin in the 13th century. Aryabhata also stated the relationship of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Some of the results of research conducted by Aryabhata are understanding the value of by Aryabhata, and then trigonometry research by Aryabhata, algebra research by Aryabhata, and then the fourth is Brahmagupta. Brahmagupta was a great Indian mathematician who lived from 598 to 660. His famous work is Brahma Siddhanta, which consists the theorems and rules. Theorems which are exact, namely, by using Archimedes' Heron's formulas to determine the radius of the outer circle of a triangle. One example is when Brahmagupta made a formula equivalent to the geometry formula we use today, namely 2r is equal to a over sin a is equal to b over sin b is equal to c over sin c, which is a reformulation of Ptolemy's. Perhaps the most interesting results of Brahmagupta is the generalization of the Baron formula to determine the area of a quadrilateral. And the fifth is Madhava, was an Indian mathematician and astronomer from the city of Irinjalakuda. He is the founder of the Kerala School of Astronomy and Mathematics. Madhava is considered one of the greatest mathematician astronomers of the Middle Ages and has made contributions to infinite series, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, and algebra. Madhava's work, which gives a sequence for to be translated into modern mathematical language. In the 14th century, Madhava of Sangamarak discovered Leibniz's formula for P and used 21 terms to calculate the value of as follows: 3.14159265359. Okay, now we will discuss about the Hindu mathematical number system. Indian numbering is based on base 10. There are several kinds of numbers in India, namely Brahmi numbers, Gupta numbers, and Nagari numbers. The first, we will talk about the Brahmi numbers. Most of the positional numeral systems that use 10 as the base used through the world are of Indian origin. The Indian numeral system is commonly known in the West as the Hindu-Arabic numeral system or Arabic numerals. As it was introduced in Europe through the Arabs, the digits 1 through 9 in the Hindu-Arabic numeral system evolved from the Brahmi numerals. The Brahmi numerals are found on inscriptions in caves and temples in the areas near Pune, Bombay, and Uttar Pradesh. Different inscriptions, different forms of symbols, Brahmi numerals have been used longer until the 4th century. Here's one style of Brahmi numerals. Okay, next, the second is Gupta numerals. Gupta numbers. The Gupta period was the period during which the Gupta dynasty ruled all the way to Magadha in northeastern India in the early 4th century to the late 6th century. The Gupta numerals were constructed from the Brahmi numerals and were widely spread by the Gupta Empire. The Gupta numbers then developed into the Nagari number, which is sometimes also called Devahagari numbers. And the last is Nagari numbers. Nagari numbers are often mentioned by Al-Biruni as most numbers because many were sent to the Arab world. Nagari numbers are often called Devanagari numbers. Indian numerals spread through the world between the 7th and 16th century and had spread to Europe at the end of the 5th century. And based on the numbers found in India, we can know the development of Indian numeral system, namely from Brahmi numbers to Gupta numbers, then into Nagari numbers, and then these Indian numbers were developed in the Arabs and developed into modern numbers that we use today. Okay, that's all my explanation about the history of Hindu mathematician. I hope this video can be useful for all of us, and I say sorry for my mistake. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.